We're going to talk a bit more about all of this now with France 24's international affairs editor Philip Turrell, who joins me on set. And Philip, talk us through the main points that were really discussed within this group chat and how this could have happened in the first place.
Well, it's certainly Christmas come early for Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic magazine. I think any journalist who would receive this kind of information on a signal feed must feel the same way that Jeffrey Goldberg felt. I think the first question would be, well, is this actually real? Is this not somebody trying to lead me up the garden path and try to get information out of me to try to discredit journalists, which is something that has been happening a lot in the United States right now? Is this not artificial intelligence is also behind all of this? So I think a lot of questions, first of all, on what the source of this is, and then why was the name of Jeffrey Goldberg added to this chat group? I mean, whose decision was that? Was it an accident? Why was his name not removed immediately afterwards when it was found that he was in this group, which he wasn't usually or normally allowed to be part of? And why was a chat group like Signal used for this kind of highly sensitive exchange of information when there is a proper exchange mechanism within the defense forces of the United States for exchanging this kind of top secret planning as far as military strikes are concerned? So a lot of unanswered questions right now, which of course, when you listen to what Donald Trump has said, he just said, I didn't know anything about this. That is the usual reply from Donald Trump when it comes to dismissing evidence and not having to reply to anything, and then saying that the Atlantic magazine was on the brink of failure. And then also the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, having to explain, which he hasn't done so far, as to why he put Jeffrey Goldberg on this list in the first place. So a lot of unanswered questions right now, but certainly this is a huge embarrassment to the establishment in the United States.
Absolutely. And what are the main takeaways, would you say, from these revelations from Jeffrey Goldberg? Will it make a difference anywhere?
Well, there are many takeaways. The first one is, I think, the position by the Vice President, J.D. Vance. I mean, there are 18 people on this feed, including the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, and the Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, the head of the CIA as well, all exchanging information, top secret information. What we see is this reticence by the Vice President, J.D. Vance, to go ahead with these bombing raids against Houthi rebels in Yemen, saying that it could be good to wait a month because this might lead to an increase in oil prices. And basically, he doesn't want to do the dirty work for the Europeans when it comes to getting the shipping back on the route through the Red Sea. And also difference between what Donald Trump sees as the Europeans and what J.D. Vance sees as the Europeans, and the role the Europeans are playing in all of that. That is something we've never seen before between those two leaders. And I think this loathing of Europe, which we know about already, but J.D. Vance saying, well, why are we doing this? Only 3% of U.S. trade runs through Suez. 40% of European trade does. Europe has got to pay us back for this. I just hate bailing out Europe again. And then Pete Hegseth saying, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's, in quotes, pathetic, but we're the only ones on the planet who can do this. So certainly a lot of bad-mouthing of Europe in all of this. I think that comforts feeling that the US is the feeling in the US that Europe is no longer a strong ally. And a lot of questions still remaining to be answered, and we'll see what the US administration is going to say next.